right, so we got NFL Sunday. Finally, if you know me, you know that NFL is the main thing that I do. It's what I'm best at. So I'm gonna give you guys 6 free picks, and you could ride it with me. I know these, at least 4 of these are gonna hit. You never know with injuries and stuff like that, but I know at least 4 of these are hitting. So you guys can ride with me. You guys could make it into a 2-man. You could do all 6 if you want. You could do a 3-man. I'm just gonna give you my 6 favorite picks, and then you use them how you want to use them. All right. So first, I'm gonna just show you guys the last video I dropped. I just dropped one for Saturday college football. This is how it's going. So we hit. Where is it? I hit. This is not. Yeah. Okay. It's down here. So we hit 2. Was it 20Xs? I think we hit 2 4-mans today. This one barely missed, and we hit this $20 for 200, $20 for 200. So it looks like I missed a lot all up here and everything, but you lose $20, you lose $20, you lose $20, you lose $20, but then you make $400. So you're still profiting at the end of the day. So in my last video, that's what I was kind of showing you guys, is to make correlated bets and how to make correlated bets and what they are and why they're a good strategy and stuff like that. So you guys should use that for NFL too. Today, I'm just going to give you the 6 best bets overall. They're not correlated, but you can make a correlated bet out of them if you want. But yeah, that's how we did on Saturday. It was pretty good. I want to show you guys this Thursday night football video. So this is my Thursday night football video. These were the comments, right? And I showed this in another video, but I just want to show it again because the comments in the video, I was like, hey guys, just trust me on this 2-man. This one's going to hit. It ended up hitting. Everyone in the comments was like, hey, good picks. I believe in you. Had to subscribe. Good play. I said in the video, you don't have to subscribe unless it hits, all right? I'm not going to ask you to subscribe if it doesn't hit, right? So it hit. So then people came back and started subscribing, right? So that's kind of how I like to do things here. If you guys ride the picks with me and then they hit, just do me a favor, come back and subscribe, because I put a lot of time and effort into the picks and I give them to you guys for free. A lot of people are charging for picks. I'm giving them for free. If they hit, all I ask is you come back and subscribe, okay? So we could get into the picks now. So what we'll do is I'm going to start with my 2 favorite picks. If you just wanted to make a 2-man out of them, these are my 2 favorite picks. The first one is Alvin Kamara on rush attempts. So where is rush attempts? Okay. So he's set at 15 rush attempts, which is way too low. He's 22, 19, 17, 17. He's playing a Chicago defense that, if we're going to be honest, guys, no offense to any Chicago Bears fans, your guys' defense is ass. And honestly, your offense is ass too. You guys aren't good at football, okay? It's not what you do, all right? This defense, let's see the matchup. Rushing defense is 3, right? But their passing defense is 30. This is at Saints. They play better at home. Saints are going to take a lead here, and they're going to feed Kamara the ball, right? That's why we're not taking rushing yards, because their rushing defense is good, but the Saints are going to have the lead because the Bears suck. So they're going to have to keep handing him the ball. So we're taking him over 15 rush attempts here. That's the one I'm probably most confident in overall. The next one is we got Saquon Barkley over rushing yards. So he's been going off, and honestly, this is disappointing to me, the fact that they have this at 77 yards, because if you look, let's see, if you look, he's playing a horrible defense, 30th ranked in the rush. He's playing the Raiders, a dumpster fire of a franchise right now, if we're being honest. And then if we see the attempts, 36 attempts, 21, 24, 17. If you give this guy 15 attempts against the 30th ranked rush defense, you couldn't pay me to bet the under. You literally cannot pay me to bet the under, because I know the over's hitting. This is way too easy. 77, that is free. I'm going to be honest. I take it back. Saquon. I'm more confident in the Saquon pick. All right. But this is still the top two that I'm most confident. So if you just want to do a 2-man pick, you guys could do this. All right. This is a really good 2-man pick. But I'm going to give you guys the 4 other picks, and then you guys can use them how you want to use them. Right. So next we'll go with Geno. We're looking at Geno fantasy points, but we're looking at the under, which unders scare me for the most part, but for Geno, I'm okay with it because I'm not even sure. Okay, so he's right here. His matchup, it's the third against passing defense, first overall on quarterbacks. So he's playing Baltimore at Baltimore as well. I just don't. I mean, if you look at the games, right, he threw. Where is it? He threw 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, had 15 fantasy points. I mean, that's a pretty good game. 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, hit 15 fantasy points. Okay, and then this one, 219, 2 touchdowns, 15 fantasy points. 323 yards, no touchdowns, but 323 yards, 15 fantasy points. I don't think people realize how much 15 fantasy points actually is for a quarterback. Like, it's not insane, but it's higher than you would think it is. Like, that's a pretty high fantasy score line. So for Geno, I don't think he's getting it. I mean, he's barely hitting these lines, barely hitting these lines. So then you put him against the best pass defense or one of the best passing defenses and the best against quarterbacks for fantasy. I'm taking the under on that. That's just good odds right there. So that's a good play. Next, we got Chuba Hubbard. So let's see, Chuba. We're going to go over on his fantasy points. I honestly like him kind of over on everything here. I don't mind it. I just like the fantasy points more. If we see, let's find him here. Where is Chuba Hubbard? Look at the matchup. Matchup's good for him. 23rd rushing defense, 28 overall against running backs. No Miles Sanders. So I like this. He should hopefully get a touchdown. Even if he doesn't, I think he's still hitting. So he had 16 here with a touchdown. With no touchdown, he had 7. I mean, the line's only at, what was it? I think 8.5. Yeah, so I think they lowered this. I think it was at 9 earlier. So they lowered it to 8.5. Good for us. So take that at 8.5. That should hit for sure. And then next we got Kareem Hunt over on yards. So I'm seeing a lot of people for some reason taking Jerome Ford over rushing yards, which is fine. I don't mind it. I'm okay with that. Personally, I like Kareem Hunt. I think they're working him back into the leading role here. And last week it was kind of weird. They gave him the starting role for most of the game, and then towards the end of the game they just started feeding Jerome Ford. So I think with this matchup, I mean, they have such a good matchup. They're playing the Cardinals, who is just a horrible team, offense and defense. Now they got 25th rushing defense, so he's got a great matchup here. So him and Jerome Ford should both get their yards. It's kind of up to you. If you don't want to do this, but you want to do Jerome Ford yards instead, that's fine with me as well. Again, I think they're both hitting. The only thing is, I kind of, at the end of the day, just said, you know what? They have Jerome Ford at more yards. They have him at 49.5. They have Hunt at 39.5. Personally, I think Hunt's their starting back. I think that's the guy they're going to use more overall. And so I'm just going to take the 39.5 because I think it's kind of a toss-up who's their real starter there in Cleveland. So I'm taking Kareem Hunt. You could take Jerome Ford if you'd like. But I think this is easy for both of them, to be honest, because that matchup's just way too good. So the last one, we're actually going to do, let's see, we're going to do CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has a great matchup. Again, I'll show you guys. And I like using DraftKings a lot just to show you guys the matchups and stuff like that, because he's going against the first rushing defense, 26 in the pass. So coming into the game, you already know that Dallas is going to have to pass the ball because that is such a big difference between first in rushing defense and 26th in passing. They're going to come in with a passing game script. They have to. So I like CeeDee Lamb like by himself. So if you want to take him yards, fantasy points, all that, that's fine. Um, if you want to just do CeeDee Lamb, I would take probably receptions or yards. I probably wouldn't take fantasy score just because it's a little bit touchdown reliant or dependent. But just to be safe, I like this play a lot. Okay, because CeeDee Lamb, you see his last two games, 158, 117. You go to AJ Brown. This is honestly disrespectful. This is insane. You go to AJ Brown. So they have him at 83 yards, which is insane on its own. You could take both of them separately if you want. They're probably both hitting 130, 137, 131, 127, 175. And then I just showed you that CeeDee Lamb had over 100 the last two games too. But then yet they have CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown combined at 161 and a half. That's disrespectful. That is insane. I'd honestly be pissed off if I'm CeeDee Lamb or AJ Brown and I see that line. That's insane. I understand that it's a rivalry game, and those games most of the time tend to be slower games, more defense heavy. I get that, but I mean, it'd have to be so defense heavy for this to not hit. And these offenses are just honestly too good for this not to happen. I mean, I know it's a rivalry, but the offenses are just too good. It's going to happen. So, again, I love all these plays. We'll go over it one more time. So, we got Alvin Kamara, 15 rush attempts over Saquon Barkley, over 77.5 rushing yards. Geno Smith, under 15.5 fantasy score. Chuba Hubbard, over 8.5 fantasy score. Kareem Hunt, over 39.5 rushing yards. Again, you could switch it out with Jerome Ford if you want. CeeDee Lamb plus A.J. Brown, receiving yards over on their 161.5 combo. Again, you could just choose CeeDee. You could just choose A.J. I think they're both going to hit. I think this is going to hit. I think that's a great game to bet on. Again, I recommend just, if you guys want, just take some of these, mix them up. You could do a couple two-mans out of this. You could do three-mans if you want. You could put them in with the picks that you already like. So yeah, use some of these picks. At least 4 of these are hitting. I guarantee at least 4 of these are hitting. And I'll say the same thing I said in the Thursday night video. If you guys do this, you could just do a little 6-man to see if they hit. You could do a couple 2-mans. If these picks are bad and only 2 of them hit, never watch my videos again. It's perfectly fine with me. I understand. All right. But I'm telling you guys, at least 4 of these are hitting. And if they do, come back, subscribe, and like the video. That's all I ask. I think that's fair. All right. I think that's a fair trade. All right. And then I'm going to be posting TikToks as well. This is kind of just a good way to follow with how the games go. And then also sometimes I post like last minute slips on here as well. So if you want like last minute stuff too, this is a good way to see that. We just hit over 100 followers. So thanks for that. And then, yeah, it also just shows all the hits we have on the season, stuff like that. So yeah, so that's all I got for NFL tomorrow. So hit some of these slips and good luck with all your guys' picks, all right?